Everyone thought the wedding was perfect, until a woman in white walked in, and it wasn't the bride. People gasped. Phones lifted. And at the center of that storm stood Amelia Carter, the girl Daniel Hargrove once threw away like she was nothing. He never knew she was the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in the country. He only knew she had a brother whose signature he desperately needed. So he dated her. Used her. Lied to her. And when he was done, he traded her for his first love, Jennifer Hale. What Daniel didn't expect was that Amelia would come back. Not begging, but exposing every secret he thought he had buried. This wasn't revenge. This was justice arriving right on time. Hello everyone, and welcome to Vale of Hearts, a place where love finds its way through the quietest corners of the soul. Today, let's dive into the story of a woman who didn't return to win him back, but to burn the lies he built his life on. Most people only knew the Carter name from headlines, mergers, billion-dollar acquisitions, fashion empires rising out of thin air. But behind the polished reputation and ruthless success, there was the family's youngest daughter, Amelia Carter. She was the quiet one, the soft-spoken one, the girl everyone assumed had the easiest life in the dynasty. The truth was far more complicated. Amelia grew up watching her parents, founders of the Carter Group, a multi-industry empire, navigate boardrooms with precision and power. Her older brother, Ethan Carter, was the golden heir, the CEO groomed to inherit everything. Amelia, on the other hand, had always been treated as the heart of the family, the one they protected, the one they sheltered. She loved them deeply, but she also longed for something they couldn't give her, a life that felt real, not scripted. So when she met Daniel Hargrove, she mistook his confidence for sincerity, his ambition for passion. He was charming in the way people are when they know exactly what they want and how to take it. To Amelia, he seemed new, different, someone who didn't care about her last name. She clung to that idea so desperately that she didn't even notice the red flags at first. Her family noticed them for her. Catherine Carter, the matriarch, was the first to speak. "There's something in his eyes, Amelia. Something calculating." Her father was more blunt. "He wants something. I don't know what. But it's not your heart." Even Ethan, usually gentle with her, warned, "His firm has been pushing aggressively for our tech partnership. I'm not saying he's using you, but be careful." But Amelia, with all her purity and stubborn hope, believed she was the exception. She believed she could love Daniel into becoming a better man. She believed their voices were fear, not truth. And so she did something no one in the Carter family expected. She walked away. She packed a suitcase, turned off her corporate cards, and moved into a tiny apartment far away from the world she grew up in. She worked part-time, made her own meals, paid her own bills. She wanted Daniel to see her, not the name she carried. She wanted to prove, to him and to herself, that their relationship wasn't built on money or influence. What she didn't know was that Daniel was already aware that Amelia had an important brother. He just didn't know that brother was Ethan Carter, the man whose signature Daniel had spent a year chasing for a massive, career-defining partnership. And Amelia never corrected him. Never told him who she truly was. She thought she was protecting their relationship. But Daniel saw something else, an opportunity. He liked Amelia's innocence. It made her easy to predict. Easy to steer. Easy to keep exactly where he wanted her, loving him, trusting him, defending him. He never saw her softness as a strength, he saw it as a door he could walk through. Still, Amelia tried. She gave him everything she could, every part of herself she thought would finally be enough. But something was always missing, his warmth, his transparency, his genuine affection. She felt it in the way he spoke to her sometimes, offhand comments disguised as jokes. She felt it when he dismissed her feelings as overthinking. She felt it most in the ways he treated her when no one was watching. But she brushed it off. She thought love required patience. She thought choosing him meant choosing the hard parts too. She didn't know, couldn't know, that while she was giving up her world for him, he was quietly building a future that never included her. To Daniel, Amelia was not the love of his life. She was the bridge to the deal he desperately wanted. And the only thing stronger than Amelia's love was the lie she didn't know she was living. For the first few months, Amelia believed she had finally found something real, something that belonged to her, not to the Carter legacy she'd left behind. Daniel had a way of making his affection feel like a refuge. He called her soft, gentle, different from the women in his world. Amelia thought that was love. She didn't realize it was the first step in being placed beneath him. As their relationship stretched into its second year, the cracks appeared, small enough at first that Amelia convinced herself she imagined them. Daniel began with suggestions, little comments about how she should dress more professionally, or speak with more confidence, when they attended social events. Then those suggestions grew teeth. "Maybe don't wear that. It doesn't look mature. You get emotional too easily. It's not attractive. My family is particular. Just try not to say anything weird tonight. Every word was dipped in condescension, but he delivered them so casually that Amelia felt guilty for feeling hurt. She kept reminding herself, he doesn't know who I really am. He thinks I'm just trying my best. So she tried harder. But the more she bent toward him, the more Daniel straightened himself above her. Their dynamic shifted, he became the decision-maker, the critic, the one who always knew better. And Amelia, blinded by love and fear of losing him, let him. The Hargrove family was even worse. They welcomed Amelia the way one welcomes a stray animal, politely, but with a subtle disgust they didn't bother hiding. Paul Hargrove rarely looked at her. Catherine Hargrove offered smiles that didn't reach her eyes. Amanda, Daniel's sister, spoke to her like she was a naive and turned desperate for approval. They made comments under their breath but loud enough for Amelia to catch, she's sweet, but so plain. What does she even do? Daniel always had a thing for charity cases. They compared her to the women Daniel used to date, ambitious, polished, powerful. Every insult was disguised as advice, every smile laced with superiority. Amelia felt smaller with each visit, but she endured it. She told herself that families eventually warm up, that love requires patience, that once they saw how much she adored Daniel, they would accept her. But nothing Amelia did was ever enough. Daniel seemed to enjoy being caught between them. Sometimes he defended her, but always in a way that belittled her further. She's trying. She's just a little sensitive. Mom, don't be so harsh. She's not used to families like ours. Families like ours. Amelia felt those words like a slap. Still, she convinced herself to hold on. She had chosen this life. She had given up everything for it. She couldn't walk away just because his family disliked her. Then came Jennifer Hale. Jennifer wasn't just Daniel's ex. She was the version of his past that Amelia could never compete with, confident, glamorous, grounding every room she walked into. A woman Daniel's family adored, a woman Daniel once claimed he had moved on from. But suddenly Jennifer started appearing everywhere, at charity events, at the firm, at dinners where Daniel swore he forgot to invite Amelia. Their interactions grew familiar, comfortable, intimate in a way that terrified Amelia. When she asked, Daniel brushed it off. She's just a friend. Don't be insecure. Stop creating problems. You know you're the one I'm with. But the distance between them widened. Daniel grew more irritable, more dismissive, as if Amelia's questions were inconveniences rather than concerns. He spent more nights working late. He guarded his phone more tightly. He complimented Jennifer in ways he never complimented Amelia. Worst of all, he seemed to enjoy watching Amelia try harder, trying to be enough, trying to keep the peace, trying to win back a man who was already slipping away. And yet, the breaking point hadn't arrived. Not yet. Instead, Amelia clung to the memories of the man she thought Daniel was. She told herself every relationship had difficult phases. She ignored the dread curling in her stomach, the ache gnawing at her chest every time he smiled at his phone, every time he came home smelling like expensive perfume that wasn't hers. She didn't know that Jennifer wasn't just back in Daniel's life. She was being welcomed, encouraged, reintroduced. And Amelia, heart too soft, hope too stubborn, kept believing that love would fix everything. She didn't see the storm approaching. She didn't know the truth waiting to destroy her. Not yet. The moment everything shattered didn't come with screaming, slamming doors, or betrayal caught in the act. It came quietly, so quietly that Amelia almost missed it. Daniel had left his phone on the kitchen counter, screen glowing with a new message. He was in the shower, humming softly, sounding more relaxed than he had in months. Amelia didn't mean to look. She really didn't. But when the notification popped up and she saw the name Jennifer Hale, something inside her froze. It wasn't the message itself. It was the preview underneath. She has no idea. You're almost done. Her pulse hammered. Amelia told herself not to overthink. Not to assume. But her fingers moved before her mind could catch up. She unlocked the phone using the passcode Daniel once insisted she memorize, because we shouldn't hide things. What a cruel joke that was now. The thread opened, and the first thing she saw was Daniel's message from earlier that evening. I'll end things after the proposal announcement. Just trust me. She's still useful right now. Her breath caught. Useful. The word sliced through her. She kept scrolling, because people who sense tragedy never stop until they feel its full weight crush them. Jennifer had replied, good. Your family never liked her anyway. She's, what did Amanda call her? The stand-in? A sickening ache spread through Amelia's chest. Her hand trembled as she tapped on a separate chat, one labeled Hargrove Inner Circle. She had never seen it before. Maybe she already knew why. The chat opened with a picture Jennifer sent, a photo of Amelia smiling at a charity event weeks ago. Underneath, Amanda commented, she looks like a lost puppy. Daniel, hurry up. We need Ethan's signature before she figures out she's temporary. Temporary. As if she were a rental. A placeholder. Paul chimed in, Jennifer is the image our family needs. Amelia is just leverage. Don't let her get too attached. Then came the message that destroyed the last piece of hope Amelia had clung to, from Daniel himself. Relax. I know what I'm doing. Jennifer is the endgame. Amelia is the bridge. The bridge. The bait. The girl he would discard the moment her brother signed the contract. Every word blurred as tears stung her eyes, but she kept reading, because heartbreak has a cruel way of forcing people to confirm their own wounds. Marrying Jennifer is what should have happened years ago, Daniel wrote. Amelia was just convenient. Her knees nearly gave out. She leaned against the marble counter, gripping its edge to keep herself upright. The house she once thought of as home suddenly felt cold and foreign, like she'd stepped into someone else's life. The shower shut off. A door opened. And reality slammed into her. She should have closed his phone. She should have pretended she hadn't seen anything. But some betrayals were too big to hide behind quiet tears. When Daniel walked in, towel around his waist, humming lightly, Amelia held up the phone with shaking hands. Tell me, she whispered, tell me this isn't real. He froze. His expression didn't show guilt, only irritation. Why are you looking through my phone, Amelia? Not are you okay? Not let me explain. Just blame, cold and immediate. Her voice cracked. You used me. All this time. For a contract? He exhaled, annoyed. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic? Her chest tightened. Your family calls me a stand-in. A temporary girl. A bridge to my brother. And you, Daniel, you said Jennifer is the endgame. Silence. A heavy, brutal silence. Daniel's jaw clenched. Not out of regret, but out of being caught. What exactly do you want me to say? Amelia, you knew we had differences. You knew my family never liked you. You knew your brother was important. Her voice cracked. So everything was a lie? He shrugged. Not everything. But you weren't permanent. I thought you understood that. Her heart tore open. No, Daniel. I loved you. And I appreciate that, he said coldly, but this conversation is over. You need to leave. She blinked, stunned. You're kicking me out? Now? You shouldn't have read my messages. He walked past her, indifferent. Pack your things. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be. Harder? He had destroyed her world, and he spoke as if she were being unreasonable. Something inside Amelia broke. Not loudly. Not violently. It was the quiet shatter of someone realizing they had given their heart to a man who never even tried to protect it. She packed in silence. Daniel didn't look at her once. When the elevator doors opened, rain hammered against the city outside, harsh and unforgiving. She stepped out with her suitcase, mascara running down her cheeks, heart in pieces she didn't know how to gather. The world blurred. Cars passed. Thunder rolled. But she kept walking. A wealthy heiress, reduced to a girl dragging her suitcase through a storm, leaving the home of the man she once believed was her forever. The rain didn't wash away the hurt. It only made it impossible to hide. That night, Amelia Carter learned that love was not always the wound, sometimes, it was the weapon. Amelia didn't remember much about the cab ride home, only the numb heaviness inside her and the faint smell of rain clinging to her clothes. Her heart felt hollow, her mind replaying the words she had read in Daniel's phone like a cruel echo she couldn't escape. The stand-in. The temporary girl. The bridge. Every label, every betrayal, cut deeper the closer she got to the mansion she had walked away from 2 years ago. She had left this place for love, for a man she believed would build a future with her. Now she was returning with nothing but a broken heart and a suitcase filled with regret. When the car rolled to a stop at the Carter estate, Amelia froze. Her fingers hesitated on the handle. What if they were disappointed? What if they said, "We told you so"? What if the love she forfeited was the love she had needed most? She took a breath and stepped out. Before she could knock, the heavy door swung open. Her mother stood there, Catherine Carter, elegant and composed even at midnight, her eyes widening at the sight of Amelia drenched, trembling, and completely shattered. There was no question. No scolding. No hesitation. Catherine pulled her daughter into her arms, holding her as if trying to gather every broken piece Amelia had lost. "Oh, sweetheart," her mother whispered, voice thick with emotion. "What did he do to you?" The gentleness undid her. Amelia broke, sobbing into her mother's shoulder. All her fear dissolved the moment she realized this home, this family, was the one place she had never needed to earn love. Her father appeared moments later, robe thrown on hastily, eyes sharp with concern. When he saw her tear-stained face, he held her other hand and squeezed firmly, grounding her. "We raised you to be kind, not foolish," he murmured, cupping her cheek. "This is a lesson, not a failure." Those words, simple, compassionate, steady, wrapped around her heart like a warm blanket. No judgment. No resentment. Just love and truth. Then came Ethan Carter, her older brother, the heir of the Carter dynasty. He stepped into the foyer, his expression hardening instantly as he took in her state. Where is he? Ethan's voice was low, dangerous. What did that bastard do? Amelia shook her head, trying to steady her breathing. Don't go after him. Please. Ethan ignored her plea. His jaw clenched, fury radiating from him. I knew Daniel was ambitious, but using my sister to manipulate a deal? Playing with her heart? That's war. Catherine placed a hand on her son's arm. Ethan. No, he snapped, eyes burning. I'm canceling every partnership discussion with the Hargroves first thing in the morning. The finality in his voice made Amelia flinch. It's my fault, she whispered. I should have listened to you all. Her father lifted her chin. Your fault? Amelia, loving someone isn't a crime. What he did is. Catherine nodded. You walked away with nothing because you believed in love. That's bravery, not stupidity. Amelia's throat tightened. I don't know what to do now. Ethan approached her, softer this time. We'll stand behind whatever you choose. If you want to walk away and heal, we'll protect your peace. If you want justice, we will give you the power to take it. Her father added gently, but the decision is yours. Your path. Not ours. For the first time since the betrayal, Amelia felt something spark inside her, something small, faint, but unmistakable. Strength. Her family wasn't going to fight for her. They were going to fight with her, if she wanted the war. Amelia wiped her tears, breathing deeply as the weight of their support settled into her bones. She didn't have a plan yet. She didn't have a strategy. But for the first time in days, she wasn't alone. And in the quiet of her childhood home, surrounded by the people who loved her without conditions, Amelia made a silent promise. Daniel Hargrove had taken her heart. He would not take her dignity. Not anymore. Healing had begun. But so had something else, the slow, simmering birth of justice. Healing gave Amelia clarity, but it didn't erase the betrayal. If anything, every moment of kindness from her family made the cruelty of Daniel's actions sharper, clearer. She had been used, humiliated, thrown out like she was disposable. And for the first time since leaving him, she felt something stronger than heartbreak, resolve. So the next morning, after barely sleeping, she picked up her phone and dialed a number she hadn't used in years. Lucas Reed. Once her closest friend, and now a private investigator known for uncovering the kind of truths people paid to keep buried. He answered on the second ring. Amelia? His voice softened. It's been a while. She didn't have the strength to pretend. Lucas, I need your help. There was a brief pause, then a steady, unwavering reply, tell me everything. And she did. From the group chat to the betrayal, to the contract he'd planned to secure through her brother. Lucas listened in silence, but she could hear the anger simmering beneath his breath. When she finished, he said only one thing, send me the names. I'll handle the rest. Within days, Lucas delivered what Amelia hadn't expected, not just proof of Daniel's cruelty, but proof of his corruption. Brace yourself, Lucas said as he spread files across the Carter family's private study table. He's worse than you thought. The first folder revealed evidence of tax evasion, shell companies registered under Daniel's name, money funneled through accounts designed to disappear. Amelia felt her stomach twist. He always acted so righteous. So above everyone. Lucas gave a humorless laugh. People like him preach integrity because they have none. The next file held transaction records tied to Daniel's mother, Catherine Hargrove. Lucas tapped the page. This is a charity foundation, but it's been washing money for years, millions passed off as donations to offshore accounts. Amelia's blood ran cold. Then Lucas opened the third folder, this time with an intensity she hadn't seen before. This one, he said quietly, could get him disbarred. Her pulse quickened. What is it? He turned a page, revealing photos, emails, and witness statements. He didn't pass the bar exam, Lucas explained. He paid someone to take it for him. Amelia's breath caught. Daniel had built his arrogance on a lie. But Lucas wasn't done. The fourth file contained documentation of predatory acquisitions, 3 small businesses bankrupted overnight, their land seized under false pretenses. He wanted to impress his father, Lucas said. So he destroyed lives to do it. Amelia felt sick. Each revelation was another wound, but also another truth that steadied her heart. She hadn't misjudged him, she had been deliberately deceived. Then Lucas placed one final folder in front of her, thicker than the rest. This, he said, is the worst part. Inside were medical records, photos, threatening messages, and a name that made Amelia frown. Cassandra Miles. Who is she? Amelia asked softly. Lucas exhaled. A woman Daniel was involved with last year. She's 5 months pregnant. Amelia's chest tightened. He's going to be a father? Lucas shook his head. He threatened her. Paid her to disappear. Told her she'd ruin his future with Jennifer. A cold, familiar ache crept through Amelia. So he used us both. Lucas nodded. He uses everyone. The next day, Amelia asked to meet Cassandra. She expected anger, resentment, maybe even hostility. But Cassandra was gentle, tired, and terribly alone. When Amelia apologized for Daniel's actions, Cassandra broke down. He told me I was crazy, Cassandra whispered. He said no one would believe me. Amelia reached for her hand, her voice trembling but firm. You're not crazy. And you're not alone. We're not victims. Not anymore. For the first time in months, Cassandra looked up with a spark of hope. They shared their stories, two women on opposite sides of the same lie, bound now by the same goal: expose Daniel Hargrove. Expose the Hargrove family. End the cycle of manipulation. Lucas leaned back, arms crossed. If you want justice, this is the moment to take it. Amelia inhaled deeply. When's the wedding? Next Saturday, Lucas replied. A slow, steady fire lit in Amelia's eyes. Then that's where we do it, she said. The truth comes out at the altar. And just like that, the plan was set. A wedding built on lies, and a reckoning no one would forget. The Hargrove Hale wedding was the event of the season. Every influential family in the city was there. Reporters crowded the entrance, snapping photos of designer gowns, diamond bracelets, and powerful smiles. The press called it the union of two elite dynasties. Daniel and Jennifer had spared no expense: flowers imported from Italy, champagne older than the bride, and an orchestra flown in from New York. Inside the grand hall, guests settled into their velvet seats with excitement humming in the air. Everyone loved a perfectly staged love story, and no one questioned how quickly it had replaced the last one. The world saw what Daniel wanted them to see. But today, Amelia Carter wasn't the only one who had learned to stop believing the lies. Jennifer glowed as she walked toward the altar, veil glistening, dress sparkling with hand-stitched crystals. Daniel stood at the end of the aisle, shoulders back, face calm, confidence radiating off him like he had finally gotten everything he ever wanted. He had no idea everything was about to crumble. The officiant raised his book, smiled, and delivered the line every wedding waited for: if anyone objects to this marriage, speak now. The room fell silent. And then, the doors at the back of the hall flew open. The echo was sharp, jarring. Heads turned. Gasps followed. Because standing there, framed by golden light, was Amelia Carter in a white dress. Not bridal white. Warrior white. The kind of white that didn't symbolize purity, but rebirth. Her chin lifted, eyes steady. The entire room froze. Daniel's face drained of color. Jennifer's smile collapsed. People whispered, "Is that Amelia? Didn't they break up? Oh my God, what is she wearing?" But before anyone could fully process the shock, a second figure stepped in behind Amelia. Cassandra Miles. Pregnant. Visibly. 5 months along. Her hands rested on her belly instinctively, protectively. Her posture was uncertain, but her eyes carried a quiet strength, the strength that comes from surviving something meant to break you. Someone in the crowd gasped loudly. Another whispered, "Whose baby is that?" Amelia didn't blink. Didn't falter. She walked straight down the aisle, slow, measured steps, forcing every guest, every camera, and most importantly, every lie Daniel ever told, to face her. Jennifer grabbed Daniel's arm. "What is this?" she hissed. Daniel swallowed hard. I don't know. But he did. And the terror in his eyes proved it. Amelia stopped at the front, turning so the entire hall could see her clearly. "Daniel," she said, voice calm, too calm, "before you get married today, there are a few truths this room deserves to hear." The crowd murmured anxiously. Daniel tried to step forward. "Amelia, this isn't the time, it's the only time," she cut in sharply. "Because this wedding is built on lies. And lies deserve an audience." Jennifer's hands shook. "Security. Someone stop," but she froze as Amelia raised a phone, one connected to the hall's massive LED screen. Because Lucas was already in the control room. And he was waiting. Amelia continued, "For 2 years, Daniel told me he loved me. Promised me forever. Meanwhile, his family called me." The screen behind flickered alive. Messages appeared. Real messages. No edits. No excuses. The stand-in. The temporary girl. The bridge to Ethan Carter's contract. Each line hit the audience like a slap. A woman in the front row gasped, "Oh my God." Jennifer stared at Daniel. "You said that? You used her?" Daniel snapped, "It's not what it looks like." Amelia's voice didn't shake. "And as for fidelity," she nodded toward Cassandra. The hall turned toward her. Cassandra stepped forward, hand on her belly. She inhaled shakily, then said, soft but strong, this is Daniel's child. He paid me to disappear. He said I would ruin his future with Jennifer. The room exploded with outrage, gasps, whispers, cries of disbelief. Jennifer staggered back, her perfect world collapsing. You got someone pregnant? While we were planning this wedding? Daniel reached for her. Jennifer, wait, listen, but Amelia lifted her voice again, silencing the room. We're not finished. Lucas's voice came through her earpiece. Ready for the big drop. Amelia gave him a small nod. The screen changed again, this time revealing documents, financial records, bank transfers. Paul Hargrove, tax evasion. Catherine Hargrove, money laundering through her charity foundation. Daniel Hargrove, bar exam fraud, illegal property seizures, bribery. Every crime. Every secret. Every mask ripped away in seconds. The audience erupted. Reporters bolted from their seats. Phones shot up, recording everything. Paul stood, furious. Turn that off right now. Catherine gasped, grabbing his arm. Paul, the cameras, but it was too late. Sirens sounded outside. Police pushed through the doors as chaos spread like wildfire. An officer stepped forward. Paul Hargrove and Catherine Hargrove, you're under arrest for tax fraud, money laundering, and federal obstruction. Catherine shook her head violently. This is a mistake. We're the victims, but the cuffs clicked into place. Jennifer backed away from Daniel as if he were poisonous. You lied to everyone, she whispered, shaking. You lied to me. He reached for her, desperate. Jen, please, let me explain, she stepped back. No. You don't get to explain. Then she turned, and ran, veil dragging behind her like a broken promise. Daniel fell to his knees, actually fell, like the ground had finally given out beneath him. Amelia, please, don't do this. She looked down at him, not with hatred, but with finality. You did this, she said quietly. All I did was turn on the lights. The officers moved toward Daniel next, but Amelia had already stepped aside. The world was watching, every guest, every reporter, every camera. And as Daniel was handcuffed, Amelia stood tall, Cassandra beside her, Lucas emerging from the side doors like a guardian who had waited years to protect what Daniel destroyed. Someone in the audience whispered, awed and horrified, she didn't crash the wedding. She corrected it. Amelia finally breathed, fully, deeply, freely. For the first time, she wasn't the stand-in. Wasn't the temporary girl. Wasn't the pawn. She was the truth. And today, the truth won. The fallout from the wedding was immediate. Overnight, Daniel Hargrove's image as a rising star-in-law crumbled. Investigations reopened every corner of his past, every fraudulent exam, every illegal acquisition. Within weeks, the Bar Association stripped him of his license. His firm terminated him. His reputation, once polished like gold, turned to ash. Jennifer didn't fare much better. Brands cut ties. Sponsors withdrew. Public sympathy was non-existent. Reporters replayed the wedding clip everywhere, and each replay dragged her deeper into scandal. The perfect couple the world once praised became a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, a quieter story unfolded, one rooted not in chaos, but in healing. Cassandra gave birth to a baby girl with Amelia at her side. They named her Hope, because that was what she represented, a future built from truth, not manipulation. Cassandra joined Amelia as her assistant, and together they poured their experiences, every wound, every lesson, into something new. Amelia launched her fashion brand, Amelia Carter Atelier. It wasn't just clothing, it was empowerment stitched into silk and strength woven into every seam. Critics called her first collection a masterpiece born from resilience. Magazines praised her rise. Women across the country saw her not as a victim, but as a symbol of standing back up. And through it all, Lucas Reed remained steady. He never pushed, never demanded more than Amelia could give. He walked beside her in silence when she needed space and cracked quiet jokes when she needed to breathe again. He wasn't a hero swooping in, he was a presence that made healing possible. One evening, after her debut fashion show, flashes popping, reporters cheering, models congratulating her, Amelia stepped outside to catch her breath. The cool air felt clean against her skin. That was when she saw him. Daniel. Standing across the street, clothes rumpled, eyes hollow, watching her with a regret so deep it almost swallowed him whole. For a moment, their eyes met, past and present colliding in a single breath. He looked like he wanted to speak. To apologize. To explain. But Amelia simply smiled. Not cruelly. Not victoriously. Just peacefully. Then she turned away and walked back inside, where her new life, her real life, waited. And as the doors closed behind her, she finally understood, closure isn't revenge. It's peace.